Welcome. My name is Danielle, and this is a yoga practice for restful sleep. What I'd like you to do before we begin is grab your props. I have a yoga bolster. You can get a pillow off of your couch or your bed. I have 2 blocks. Again, you could just grab some extra pillows if you don't have these yoga props. I have a yoga strap. You can use a scarf or a belt. And don't forget something to cover your eyes with to create a little darkness, soothe the eyes, calm the nervous system. And before you begin, please consider subscribing to my channel for more yoga and deep relaxation practices. So we'll start our practice today in a seated position. You can cross your legs, sit on your pillow, or you're welcome to lean up against the wall. I want you to be comfortable. I'm comfortable and happy sitting in this shape. So find the shape that's just right for you and try to have your hips, your shoulders, and your ears all in one nice line. Then we'll close our eyes, place your hands on your lap, and give yourself a couple of moments to settle into your practice. I always begin by taking a few long sighs out through the mouth. To help signal the mind that you are beginning your yoga practice. It's a moment to step away from the outside world and to begin to focus on you. Now, I'm sure some of you have been sitting through your day, so don't worry, we won't be sitting here for too long. I'd like you now to bring your hands to your heart space. Bow your head down to your heart. Relax your belly as you breathe out. Soften your eyes and set an intention for your practice. An intention of focusing only on you, feeling in your body where you're holding stress, anxiety, tension, and allow yourself to let go, to completely undo and reset. Nothing else matters right now. You can release the hands down onto the knees or the thighs. Take a deep breath in. Roll the shoulders up to the ears and down the back and breathe out. Start to open your eyes. And hopefully you have already dimmed the lights in your space. You could actually even have almost no light at all, just enough so that you can see what you're doing in your surrounded space. We're going to go ahead and lie down, and we'll be here for most of the practice. Now, I use some recycled baby blankets that I had for my kids. They're super soft and they make a great pillow for my head to rest. I just have a 1-fold. You could also use a blanket or a towel. You'll go ahead and turn around and lie down on your back. Use your elbows to lower yourself down, and from here on out, try to move like you're in slow motion. So elbows instead of using your stomach muscles. And bring your head down onto your blanket. You can take your hands and tuck the edges under so it cradles your skull. And then your feet are going to go nice and wide. Let your knees come together. Bring the arms out into a T position or a cactus position. If you're going into cactus, be sure the backs of your hands are laying down on the ground. Now I'm going to put some blankets under my hands so I don't feel the cold tiles on the floor. So this is what the props are for. You can use them in any of these spaces to make you feel held and supported and comfortable. Now, just for a couple moments, I would like you to relax your eyes again and breathe out through the mouth, starting to feel the ground holding you. As you start to feel the ground holding you, might you count the length of your exhalation? Just noticing how long the breath out is. Maybe it's an 8 count, 6 or 5. If it's less than a 5 count out, that's okay. Just let it begin to lengthen as you start to relax. Now start to feel the ground underneath you. Let your head get heavy, your shoulders, your arms, your spine, your feet, and feel your inner thighs falling towards each other, relaxing all the way into the groins. Now pay attention to the belly. Let your belly descend down towards the organs, towards the spine. Feel your eyes resting towards the center of your chest, right between your lungs. And each exhalation you take, releasing any tension that you feel in your body. You might start to notice how your back body feels supported and held, and how tension is starting to ease out of the shoulders and the neck. You might begin to feel your breathing slowing down, or the tight muscles in your glutes and your low back releasing. Feel your body and invite the tension to let go. As you start to hear my voice, I'd like you to place your right hand on your belly and begin to breathe into your belly, noticing as you inhale, the belly expands. And as you exhale, the belly descends. Place your hand below the navel. You might notice the exhalation is longer than the inhale, and that's okay. It's a way to promote the body into that rest and digest state. Now take your left hand and place it above your navel, but below the ribs in the solar plexus. I'd like you to breathe, inhale, half into the belly and half into the left hand above the navel. And when you exhale, exhale from the left hand and emptying into the low belly, the right hand. Now you're starting to use your diaphragm properly and fully. Massaging the organs in the belly, allowing your physical heart to work a little less. As the diaphragm rises and falls. Also massaging or stimulating the vagus nerve. A very important nerve that is not stimulated when we take short, rapid breaths. Sends signals to the brain to tell the nervous system to rest. Let your fingers start to move from the belly. You can take some wrist circles, and you might walk the feet back underneath the hips, underneath the knees, and just let the knees sway a little bit from left to right, and right to left. And from this space, we'll come into a little bit of a twist now. So you'll want one of your pillows or one of your bolsters. And perhaps if it's a thin pillow, you might need two. So as your knees come back to center, let both of your knees fall over to the right side. And as you do that, you'll place a bolster underneath the right thigh. So as the knees drop across, you'll place a pillow under the right thigh. As you do this, take your right hand and rest it on your belly. And take your left arm overhead. Be sure that the back of the hand is propped on the floor, or if it's lifted off the floor, you would place a blanket or a bolster underneath it, even a block. Feel the tight spaces, perhaps under the armpit, along the side of the body, down to the hip, the glute, the low back. And let your eyes rest into the center of your being. Any of those knots that you feel in your body, release them as you breathe out. In any of these poses, you can grab your eye pillow, your eye covering, and place it over your eyes. Be sure that it's not too heavy. Otherwise, it can cause damage to the areas around the eyes. Anytime you have thoughts from your day pop into your mind, just observe. Notice what it is, and then let those thoughts drift past for right now. Just releasing any weight of tension and stress you feel in your body. Could be an emotion that you're carrying, past experience. You can start to feel your toes, just wiggle them a little bit. Begin to tell yourself that you're going to move, lift your knees back up. And again, you don't need to open your eyes. Just take your prop and move it to the second side. Bring it across the body. You can separate your feet a little wider than the hips if you'd like. Let the knees drop over to the left. Take the left hand onto the belly and the right arm will reach overhead. You can stretch it out as far as you like depending on your shoulder and what's going on in your body. I like placing my hand on the belly. It helps to remind me to take those full cycles of breath and to really empty and release the stale air that I'm holding. What stale energy can you do without? So you could feel tension all on the outer band of that right leg, releasing all the way down into the low back. Still breathing out through the mouth, letting the shoulders descend to the ground. Relaxing the eyes. Now, if you're not following the video and you're doing this at another time, you just set a timer or put a song, calming music on that you might like. Ideally, though, having no music at all is one of the ways to help you relax completely. Having support, having darkness, in a quiet space with just the right temperature. Invite yourself to return back to your true state. Now from here, your right hand will just start to wiggle and move, and you can work it down all the way to the knees or the thighs, and your left hand will release and help the legs back to center. And you can bring the knees into the chest for a moment. Hands can go right below the kneecaps. Just give yourself a little gentle squeeze. Big breath, the belly will expand, and breathe out. You might take a couple of circles with your thighs in one direction and back the other way. And from here you can roll onto your left or your right side into a fetal position. I normally turn to my left side, but today I'll roll towards you so that I don't have my back away from you. Bring your knees into your belly and take the time here. Use the bottom hand to support the head and cover your eyes with your top hand. Give yourself a few minutes to feel the changes that are taking place. Slowing down, taking care of you, taking care of your well-being by calming your nervous system before bedtime or any time in the day. And push your hands into the ground and use them to help lift your body upwards. Let the head stay draped over your heart space. Bring the hands to the forehead. Relax and round your back. And again, invite a long sigh out through the mouth. Relax any tension in the neck. Any weight, heaviness that you're carrying from the past, let it go so you can show up to be your best self and have a good night's sleep. Push your head up slowly. Feel your ears line up with your shoulders. Release the hands down onto the thighs, the knees. Take a few breaths. Maybe you notice you feel a little lighter, relaxed, deeper connection inwards. You can start to open your eyes. And we'll take one last pose before we finish our practice today. So for this pose, you're going to put your legs up the wall. Viparati Karani, legs up the wall pose. I like to use a strap, a blanket, and perhaps something to cover your eyes with. So I'll move the bolster out of the way, and you can lie right down onto your back. When you put your legs up the wall, you don't need to have your buttocks or your legs right up against the wall. You want the legs to lean up against the wall so that the wall can be used as a prop. It's one of my favorite props, is the wall, to do yoga poses. So give it a try. So go ahead and spin around. If you haven't done this before, you'll put your feet right up against the wall. Bring your arm out to that 9 o'clock position if you're on your right side, and slowly roll onto your spine, bringing one leg up the wall at a time. Grab your strap. You'll start with your legs bent, depending on how tight your hamstrings are. Loop the strap through one leg, then the other. Try to separate your legs hips distance apart. If you don't know what hips distance is, if you feel the bony bits on your hips, you want to line those up with your big toes. It's about 1 block's distance apart. Have a little bit of internal rotation. If you have your eye pillow, cover your eyes with it. And then try to straighten your legs. But when you do this, try to only have your heels on the wall, not your feet. So curling the toes back for flexion or dorsiflexion of the feet. Have your knees slightly bent. The strap isn't too tight, but just right. Make a little fold under your blanket to cradle your head. Take your arms into your favorite position, arms out to the sides, or perhaps closer towards the legs, which is where I'm going to go. Since this will be my last pose, there's no Shavasana this evening. And from here, you take a breath in, breathe out. Do that about 3 times to see if you're comfortable, if you need to wiggle or make any adjustments. This is those 30 seconds just to see what you can do to be almost in like a little cocoon. Set a timer if you'd like. If you're new to this pose, give yourself some time to grow into it. Start off with 1 minute, then go to 3, maybe 5, eventually 10 to 15 minutes. If you have any pain or discomfort in the pose, then I would suggest to lower the legs onto maybe a chair or come out of the pose completely and rest on your side. But for right now, feel your exhalations. And again, start to invite relaxation into the pose. Grounding down in the posture by feeling the points of the body, the heels, the hands, the head, the spine, all relaxing and becoming supported as gravity assists. Begin to let the legs get heavier and heavier on the wall. Undoing your day, your legs carrying you from one place to another. You might start to follow an inhalation in through your nose, just watching it move to the back of the throat and all the way to the toes. And watching the exhale descend downwards from the feet to the ankles, the knees, the hips, the belly. Softening deep in the belly. And maybe going a little further past the belly, over the spine, across the chest, relaxing through the arms and out the fingers. Anytime you start to feel your legs or your feet falling asleep, just acknowledge it. Stay there for another breath to 3, and then you would slowly exit the pose. You might start to feel the spaces between the breath. The space inviting you to move further inwards to that light within. As you rest here for a few more minutes, nourishing and healing. As you start to hear my voice again, let your body stay still. Let your eyes stay closed. And begin to move from that light within, just feeling the limbs, the hands and the feet. Invite a little movement in through your fingers and your toes. Remembering to move slowly with your breath. We want to stay in this relaxed state. You can start to slide the feet down the wall and bring the knees into the chest. Just giving yourself a loving, compassionate squeeze. And you can roll onto your left side, taking the strap off at any point. Again, coming into fetal pose, cover the eyes. Just acknowledge how you feel. How does it feel to move slow? How does it feel to surround yourself with healing energy? How does it feel to spoil yourself with a few minutes of relaxation, undisturbed? You can use your hands, push yourself up, or stay right where you are. As you come up, let your eyes open just enough. You can cross your legs once again and hold your head in your hands. Sigh out one last time. Push your head up slowly. And this time return your hands to your heart space. Bow your head as you did at the very beginning. Thank yourself for your time. But most importantly, ask yourself how you can take your yoga off your mat where the real yoga begins. How can you take some of this relaxed practice into your life? Can you connect to your breath as you move through your day? Can you find more time for you to undo? Or perhaps take a 5-minute breath break. Thank you for joining this practice. I'm so happy that you found this practice and that you've taken the time for you to incorporate a relaxing yoga practice for a better night's sleep into your day. Please consider subscribing to the channel for more deep relaxation and yoga practices. I'm honored that you're here. See how you sleep this evening, and tomorrow come back to this practice and leave a comment and let me know how it was for you. I would absolutely love to hear from you. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you live a life with ease. Namaste.